Gary sent me this video. What it is that I quite liked it, but it is this person, Nicholson, 1968. He's got quite... Gary sent me this video. What it is that I quite liked it, but it is this person, Nicholson, 1968. He's got quite a good subbing. I don't want to upset him. If you don't like what I've done, then please tell me. Do not get me a strike. I really like this video. Oh God, I wish I could play the whole thing. But if you want to see the whole thing, please go over to his channel. There is the name, 2024, What's Really Going On. A Look Behind the Curtain by Nicholson, 1968. Very much like this video. Let's play it and tell me what you think.
Showmanship and theatrics. When a magician waves his hand and says, "This is where the magic is happening," the real trick is happening somewhere else. Misdirection, a basic concept of magic.
Thank you for being here today for our press conference on what I describe as the most important issue that's getting the least amount of attention relative to its importance in our country. And like many other issues, we're going to be deciding on November 5 what kind of a country we're going to be, and it applies to this issue as well. President Trump had withdrawn the U.S. from the WHO, and of course the Biden administration, like every other disastrous decision they made, reversed those policies when the Biden-Harris administration got in charge. Well, later this week, the UN is going to hold a, quote, summit for the future. And they're going to produce, this is right from their website, an intergovernmentally negotiated, action-oriented pact for the future with a chapter on transforming global governance. Ascending beyond the powers being sought by its subordinate agency, the WHO, the UN is seeking even broader and more powerful authority, as you will hear a lot about today. The Biden-Harris administration apparently intends to fully support the surrender and compliance of the U.S. to the UN in these endeavors. They are aligned with the international globalists that hate America, that hate the Constitution, that hate our founders, that hate our founding Judeo-Christian principles, and they want America to become like the rest of the world. They don't want us to be subordinate to or governed by our Constitution. No, they want America to be subordinate to and governed by the UN, the World Health Assembly, and the WHO. And in fact, they intend to join with others at the UN summit this week to vote to award additional powers to the UN Secretary General. They seek to facilitate the evolution of the UN from an international cooperative body to an international governing body. These powers would be triggered by any one of a number of so-called global emergencies, whether it was a so-called climate emergency, a health emergency, a cyber emergency, or a gun violence emergency, whatever that's supposed to be, a financial emergency, or whatever they deem appropriate. And the Biden-Harris administration is in full agreement with the UN and the WHO on efforts to place us under their authority and to require such things as their international health regulations, including the surveillance of U.S. citizens, the censoring of dissenting views, and much more. The American people didn't vote for this, and they don't support this, and it's up to the people's representatives, that's us gathered here today, to have a responsibility to expose this and to reject this. The U.S. should defund the WHO again. We should withdraw from the WHO. Any agreements with the WHO or the UN should require Senate approval or disapproval. And a bipartisan House majority voted to require Senate approval just last week with Tom Tiffany's bill on the House floor. So I'm proud to be joined here by my House colleagues and others who are appropriately concerned and educated, informed, and leading on this issue. Again, this is the most important issue that's getting the least amount of attention relative to its importance and its impact on our country and on the American people.
Obviously, this channel has copied this bit from somewhere else, but that was quite a fascinating talk, and I just want to add that I don't understand why people, you know, it all happened with the word Tartarian. It's got Tarian on it. So does Lutheritarian. So does Totalitarian. So does authoritarian, it must mean that totalitarian is a part of that lot. But I think we live in totalitarianism because a lot of countries still have it, including Russia. They told us they were communist. No, they've had it in the Middle East. If they've had it, we've got it. And that, it seems, is what we're living under. That's what I think. So it's even worse than he says, because it's totalitarianism. It's already here, and the UN obviously is promoting it.
I have in my hand, and I'll tell you how you can get a copy for yourself, Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And so in here you start to read what they have to say about what they're trying to do, and they'll say things that are very contradictory, that cannot exist side by side, and it's full of glittering generalities about eliminating poverty and sustaining the world, and on and on and on. And if you extend the lines on these things, it means total government control. We are committed to achieving sustainable development in its three dimensions: economic, social, and environmental, in a balanced and integrated manner. So they want sustainable development in economics. Now figure that one out. If they control the situation so much they can control the economy, that is no longer freedom. That is no longer free enterprise. Social. In other words, they want to change society. And anybody's government is based on the society that put it together. If that society changes, then the government changes. And so Karl Marx knew, as I've said before on these broadcasts, he always called for a social revolution. He knew that society had to change in order to make communism, socialism successful. And then they talk about the environment. But a couple of other things that are in here, just as a just to fill you in. It says, it is guided by its purposes and principles of the Charter of the United Nations. It is grounded in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that sort of thing. So these declarations of human rights, as I pointed out in my book, International Merger by Foreign Entanglements, on page, for those of you who have a copy, on page 112, it says in these areas where they're giving these rights, in other words, our system is based on the idea that God gave us our rights. Therefore, nobody can legitimately take them away from us, particularly government. And its Universal Declaration says we give you the rights. We guarantee you these rights. And they say things like this. Freedom to manifest, everybody has the right, this is Article 18, by the way, of the Universal Declaration from the UN. Everyone shall have the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. But then it asserts this: freedom to manifest one's religion or beliefs may be subject only to such limitations as are prescribed by law and are necessary. So the Bill of Rights of Congress says that Congress shall pass no law. These are your rights, they come from God. Congress may not interfere, period. The United Nations says, yes, you have these rights, but we can regulate them, basically is what they're saying. And so it's the same with all of this. They talk about freedom, they talk about independence, they talk about equality and all the rest of it, as long as they are in control.
Thank you very much to this channel for putting that information out. I wonder how they were really treated. 3.9 thumbs up. Yeah, that's quite a lot, isn't it? I'm lucky if I get 20. But anyway, not complaining, but I very much like this video. And if he can get, I haven't filmed the, let's have a look. I can't because I filmed it the other day and I'm not there now and I've got to go out shortly. But, you know, he's able to get all those views. It's amazing why YouTube do it to me. But I've obviously hit on a few things. But he's allowed to do it. If he's allowed to put this video out, so am I without any problems. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for making this video. And it's just the way you look at things, isn't it? Or what you understand when you know extra information. Thank you very much.